Good morning and welcome to Black Mental Health Matters. Today, our topic is on the impact of music on mental health. With me today is Dr. Cloud, who is a social worker from Mecklenburg County, and he provides HIV and STI outreach services to the community. Dr. Cloud has been in the field of social work for over 8 years, and during his time has served in various capacities, including outpatient mental health, adult and juvenile correctional facilities, HIV treatment centers, and the school system serving grades K to 12. Dr. Cloud acquired his BSW from North Carolina Central University, located in Durham, North Carolina. He acquired his master's in social work from Howard University in Washington, D.C., and has acquired his doctorate in social work from the University of Kentucky. Dr. Cloud's areas of interest are African American males, the LGBTQ individuals of other colors, children and family, and women of color. Dr. Cloud, welcome to today's show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, today we're going to be discussing music and its impact on mental health. So, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to play a video. I'm not going to tell you what it is, I'm just going to go ahead and share. Okay, how was that?
I couldn't hear it.
Now, that shit, you didn't hear it?
No, I didn't hear it at
I'm
all.
so sorry.
It's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I hope the listeners out there heard, but that was human harmonics, and it's basically based on the songs within the body, the heart, the brain, the blood flowing through. What I can do is probably post it in the chat link so people can go and just listen to it.
Mm.
Now, I pulled that video up to show that the music is in us. We are the music. And there's a saying that like begets like, and this is how we can heal. Because if the music was in opposition to our bodies, to our entire system, it would not have that healing impact on our mental health. And with that being said, Dr. Cloud, I'm going to ask you to briefly share with our audience here today your definition for music.
Um, so I would say that music to me is a feeling. It's like a I can't describe music if I could, and I know in most people would think that music is just people singing, but to me, music is a feeling, right? Anytime I hear music, I'm thinking sometimes I'm not listening to the words. I'm actually listening to the beat of it
Mm-hmm.
and the feeling that it gives me. Sadness, happiness. I'm listening to the beat, and that's to me that's what music is. It's just the feeling that it emotes into the human body.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to add here that music is a form of art that uses sound and rhythm to express emotions. It tells stories. And one of the things that music does, it evokes feelings within you. And music is also created by using all the different elements. It could be melody, harmony, rhythm,
Mm.
timbre, the human voice, instruments. But music is everywhere. It's found in nature. And it is an integral part of our human experience and culture. And it has been around for as long as we have existed, maybe even before. And I would like to say that as complex and diverse as music is as an art form, it has a wide range of styles and genres, from the classics to jazz to rock, pop, hip hop, soca, reggae. And these are just a few that I'm calling off the top of my head, but music is everywhere. It is everywhere. It is in us. We are the music. And with that, I'm going to go to my next question for Dr. Cloud. And that is, and it's not actually a question, it is with music as a mental wellness tool, who should perform this treatment? Can the patient or the client self administer music for healing mental health issues?
So I will say that for healing mental health issues, no, because how would you properly know when you're healed or when you have kind of eradicated the mental health issue? Um, but it's also tricky because music is everywhere. So there's not really much you could do as a clinician to stop a client from listening to music. So, but I would say that it's the responsibility of both parties, the clinician and the client, to utilize music therapy in a way that is actually beneficial to the client. So it's gonna be hard for them to honestly heal themselves with music therapy, but it's possible for them to kind of get to a point um, with using music where they won't actually need a clinician, so they're able to kind of manage it on their own. The mental health issue hasn't went away; it's just they're able to handle it by using music therapy on their own.
When you say that, what do you mean? That the mental health issue hasn't gone away, but they're using music to help on their own.
So,
Explain a bit more.
yes. So, for example, and I can use a personal example from my line of work. One of my when I used to work with kids, one of my kids had a temper issue, so he had anger management issues. And so, what we discovered was that anytime we used music kept him calm. It was kind of like it's kind of switched a trigger. Now, so that was just pretty much what we called our band aid. So the music would keep him calm in those moments. But when there wasn't music, and he wasn't able to listen to music, the temper tantrum would come back. So he would be back aggressive, back acting up, and everything like that. So it was still there. It's just that music was helping to control it. So we didn't get rid of the temper tantrums or the anger issues that were manifesting, but we were controlling it by using music, which he loved, because we saw that it kind of reduced him from having these anger or temper tantrums out in the public or within his family. So it was kind of like a, a temporary solution, but until we could find a long term.
So you're saying that for a person who having certain types of mental health issues, that the music actually brings that person to a different way of being. What I don't want to say what. How does music actually interact with the mind to bring it to that state of peace?
So depending on what type of music it is, or what type of sounds it may be, all music has a certain core that kind of speaks to a certain a certain primary emotion in the human body, and it triggers a chemical in the brain. So it depends on the music. So for instance, um, if you're listening to R&B,
Hmm.
certain R&B songs trigger loneliness or sadness in the brain because most of them are about loneliness and sadness. If you're listening to an upbeat song, let's say like Happy by Kirk Franklin or I Smile by Kirk Franklin, that's an upbeat song. It kind of triggers the chemical in your brain that kind of controls your emotions, and you kind of get more of a happy disposition. When we look at music like heavy metal or rock, punk rock, which is very like raw, aggressive music,
Hmm.
it kind of it triggers again that a chemical in your brain, and what it does is, well, heavy metal is kind of weird, so it can kind of trigger any type of emotion. I never really we don't know why, but so
If
basically
I'm
what I'm
hearing you correctly, you're saying that, sorry,
oh no, go ahead.
you're saying that heavy metal is different to, let's say, R&B music, um, maybe just drums beating,
Yes, it
more
is.
specifically African drums beating, um, song bowls, the gong. You're saying that heavy metal can be more aggressive and create aggressive behavior.
It can, and the reason why is when we look at prior, prior incidents and like heavy metal concerts and stuff like that, people jumping into the crowds and how the music seems to ramp up like aggressive emotions with heavy metal. Heavy metal kind of ramps up aggressive behavior, and it's only because of the music is very aggressive, very loud, very
Is
people.
it just the loudness or
I'm
is
sorry.
it the vibration? Because everything carries a vibration. And is it the sequence in which the music is happening, that vibration is being created, that could be chaotic and not necessarily carrying a smooth rhythmic pattern? I
And
mean, if we're talking about the human body having its own music and having a rhythm and a sequence of doing things, and if you listen to well, you said you couldn't hear it, but the video clip that I showed on human harmonics basically let you hear the sounds that the body's making. And it has a very soothing rhythm. You're hearing the heartbeat, you're hearing the sound of brainwave activity. Um, are you saying that heavy metal does not carry a smooth, and I'm not a musician, so my language is not going to be in terms of music, but it doesn't carry the same smooth rhythm? It's like, you're having notes just jumping out everywhere and all over the place. They're not really in a
yeah, yeah,
soothing sequence.
yeah, heavy
Is that what
metal.
I'm hearing you say? That because of the structure of the music, it is more chaotic and therefore it creates that within the human psyche.
Yeah, and which is true. Heavy metal does create that. Heavy metal does not have the type of rhythm or vibration that is in tune with the human body, because
But
because it and because
I
it
like heavy
has.
metal.
I'm not a heavy metal fan because heavy metal kind of, again, it has that kind of that aggressive undertone, and so how it interacts with the human body, to me, from what I've seen, has never been good. Now, I can also pivot and say that different people bodies may react different to each type of music and vibration. So so those who like heavy metal, they may be more attuned to that type of vibration versus those who don't like heavy metal may not be attuned to that type of vibration for heavy metal. And only because it may just be not only a culture thing, but also may be a music thing. So most people have different tastes in music as well, so their bodies kind of attuned to the vibrations of their music genre that they really are attuned to. For instance, gospel R&B is mine.
Wow, gospel R&B. Never heard of gospel R&B before.
Yeah, so gospel and R&B are my two genres that my body is attuned to more. And then hard rock or physical or hard rock music makes my body feel sick.
I love music in general. Here in the Caribbean, here we have reggae, spooch, and soca, and then we have raga soca. And basically, this is music that we dance to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I know coming out of the Caribbean, we also have a lot of reggae music that carries either political message or just messages of hope,
Mm-hmm.
especially people like Garnet Silk, Bob Marley. These are two that come to mind, whose songs have always been messages, of hope and giving you that, there's better tomorrow. Garnet Silk has some songs that speak primarily of God and spirituality. And I know for me, if I'm feeling down, I always go to Garnet Silk or Bob Marley. These are my two spiritual guides in terms of music. So it's really good to hear you say that you have your genre that you prefer, which is gospel music.
Yes,
And
gospel.
here's what I want to indulge our listeners in. I'm going to play another video clip, and this one is the song, which many people in the Eastern cultures believe is a song that the earth makes.
Hopefully I can
So
hear it.
prepare yourself. What I'm going to do is ask you to just listen, and you're going to close your eyes and just listen to the song, the vibration of the song, and the energy of the song. I want you to feel that within your own soul. So here it comes. Let me see. Okay, just give me one sec. I need to gonna stop share for a minute. Okay, now that is the sound of Om, and it's a cosmic sound. And I'm gonna ask you if you, well, some people say they couldn't hear anything. I'm so sorry. Um, oh, there, that was not how that was supposed to be. But my thing is, I'm gonna post the video clips so that you can actually listen to them, and I want you to use this as an exercise for your own personal healing as well, so that you get to experience music for healing. And Om is not just a cosmic song, it is also a spiritual song used in many traditions during meditation that's connecting higher self. And that brings us to the question on music from a religious perspective. I know a lot of people spend time on Sundays in church and listening to the organ. I, for one, like to hear the pipe organ. Um, how does that assist spiritual? I shouldn't say spiritual, but music in worship. How does music in worship help with one's mental well-being?
So I would say for somebody who is a church kid or grew up in the church, I would say that worship music does significantly help somebody's mental health, and only because I would tell people, you ever hear a song or a gospel song and you feel like it's speaking to you, and you're like, oh, this song is about me, or it was written for me, and so it emotes or releases this emotion inside of us that kind of promotes our mental health healing, right? So I think like my favorite worship song is "Break Every Chain" by Tasha Cobbs. And it emotes the emotion of overcoming, perseverance, strength, you know, and getting through sadness. And then another one of my favorite gospel songs is Whitney Houston, "I Look to You." And so it's not just the lyrics, because again, I don't listen to just the lyrics. I listen to the rhythm, the beat, the vibrations of the music, and just when I hear the beginning of that song, automatically I start crying. I don't know why, and I think because that's when I hear just the beat of it, it's kind of just like reminds me that it's okay to kind of let everything out. Like it's okay to kind of be broken, but somewhere down the line, find that inner strength. So worship music kind of does so many different things to people and their mental health. Um, it can't really heal your mental health fully, but I think it kind of helps people mental health down the line. And I think that's why a lot of people love gospel music or worship music, um, especially um, especially when we look at why worship music was created. You see that it was to promote not only your love of God, but also your love of healing oneself. So certain gospel music, you'll hear certain lyrics like I want to be tried by fire, just so I can be healed and used by God. And so I think it just varies.
What about Negro spirituals? You know, those songs that Harriet Tubman and those people who were on the human train to freedom sang. What about those? How would those songs have impacted not just the mental well-being of those people who were seeking freedom, but how would it have impacted on them overall in terms of inspiration? You know, we got to keep moving, we got to do this. One of my favorites is Waiting in the Water.
I would.
I particularly like that because it speaks of patience,
It's
you
it's
know,
fu-
and
it's
perseverance.
it's funny that you say that, because I was going to actually say that song as well. I think that's one of my favorite Negro spirituals, and you're right. It does speak of patience, perseverance, hope as well. If we're trying to get from slavery into freedom in the North, Negro spirituals have a very big impact in especially African American culture as well. And then you gotta look at the vibrations of it as well. Somebody in the comments says drums are spiritual instruments, and so these Negro spirituals also utilize drums as
Yes,
well.
I saw that.
And so
Let
when
me
you hear
just,
and when you hear and when you hearing
yeah.
And when you
Drums are
hear the
spiritual
drum,
instruments, and that's correct.
yeah, and when you're hearing the drums and then you're singing the Negro spiritual, it's kind of like a message of that freedom is coming, hope is coming, keep moving, keep persevering, and waiting in the water incorporates drums into it. You know, a lot of people don't know that, but the original Wait in the Water incorporates the drums because it was a signal, you know, for slaves that it's time to go. So when I heard that, as soon as I heard that rhythm on the drum, you know, the Negro spiritual, we're leaving. It's time for us to get across these waters and get to where we need to go for freedom. And we got to persevere. We got to keep moving. Um, and so I think Negro spirituals are very big. Just like this isn't really a Negro spiritual, what I call it one. There's a leak in this old building. It's not a Negro spiritual, but it reminds me of one. And so I think that those two kind of incorporate within each other. So crystal bowls are wonderful too,
Yeah, wonderful tools. I agree. Yeah,
and it's only
I
but
I
it's
actually own a very small one, so yes, crystal balls are the way to go.
and I honestly just discovered crystal bowls within the last year. Thanks to one of my close friends who uses the sound vibrations to help him relax.
Yes, yeah, the singing bowl is the way to go. It's very soothing music. We have some other from comments. Regina Rowe, angry music can be a way of processing negative emotions in a healthier way than punching a wall. Bright music can be a useful purge for negative emotions because it allows expression of real feelings and experience normally denied by polite society. It can serve as a means to purge. Though there's a lot of attention on how it might do the reverse, and I like this comment.
I do too because
That's very interesting because very often we think in terms of healing must be soothing, but getting that anger out, getting that frustration out is also important. Thank you, Regina. That's a very awesome comment. And I like it because there are times where you need to let it out and be real with your emotions. And I think that when we hide our anger, when we hide our frustration, it just makes things worse.
and I can agree that that's why I said earlier that grind music or heavy metal can affect people differently, especially people who are more attuned to it versus people who not. So that's why I could agree with her comment that it can either entice or it can also be a way of release. Just depends on who the person
And that
is.
brings me, yeah, and that brings me to thinking of that primal scream, where you just inhale as much air as you can and you just push it back out there, especially when you're going through trauma and frustration and you don't have words to express. And I've felt that so many times as a young girl growing up, and in my latter years too, I felt that need to just get out there in a big field and just let it all out through the primal scream.
Mm,
And that's another form of music, using your vocal cords.
it is, and I think that's a very important thing to say as well for people, our viewers who are watching, knowing that, it's not bad what type of music you like. And but like Regina said, if we hide our anger, we can inadvertently nurse inner poison, and I get it,
Yes,
that primordial scream, you're letting it out. So, I think, like, again, different music for different people, and I think that's how it helps people as well. Music is very. I always laugh, and I laugh at this because most time when people are going through something or they're going through a depressive moment, they put on more mute. They put on depressive music that makes them more depressed. And I laugh at it because we do it inadvertently because we're so used to music killing us that I don't think we pay attention to it. We already depressed. We're listening to this depressing music and it's making us more depressed. We're going through a breakup. So the first thing we do is we put on the saddest music that we know, and we're more
yeah, I'm
and we're
laughing because I know in Trinidad and Tobago, not to cross you, in Trinidad and Tobago, there's a church called Tabanca,
hmm.
and where you just play all the sad music you can because you've gone through a heartbreak.
And
So
you're
that's
still
what I'm laughing.
sad.
Yeah,
and you're still sad
yeah, you know,
versus
it's gone through a heartbreak and you're playing every sad tune you can think of.
exactly. And then it's you're wondering, why am I still depressed? Why am I still sad? Because the music that you're listening to, not just the lyrics, but the rhythm, the beat that's inside of it, is promoting, the chemical in your brains that we want to be sad. We just want to be sad right now. We are heartbroken. So we just want to
It is
cry.
good to feel the feelings. I think it is good to feel the feelings, acknowledge the feelings, but you must get over those negative emotions that pull you into a dark place. It could either be a place of deep depression or anger,
Mm-hmm.
and then anger can lead to blind rage and you can do something really crazy. So we
Mm-hmm.
still have to be mindful of the impact that that music is having on our mental well-being. I know for me, one of the other things that I like to listen to, and I thank God that I live in a place where I can hear the birds. Sometimes it becomes a little annoying when the parrots come calling for food at my next door neighbor, but the sound of nature I find to be very, very soothing. You know, listening to birds chirping all day long. Another song that I enjoyed was the running of water. I spent some time in Dominica, and in Dominica, it's very difficult to get away from running water because they have 365 rivers. And I remember my first night, I was like, oh my God, that's so noisy. But after you get into it and you understand the rhythm of the water rushing over rocks and just moving, it became very soothing and lulls you to sleep. Another place that I wouldn't think I would hear water is when I stayed by my aunt. And she's like a good few miles away from the water, but you could hear the roaring of the ocean at night from her house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can hear that. So there's so many beautiful pieces of music in nature, you know.
And
If you're ever in a forest area and you hear the tree branches knocking and birds flying out of trees and things dropping, that too can be very calming.
and you're correct. And being that I'm a country boy, growing up in the country, I'm used to birds chirping. Birds chirping in the morning to me wakes me up.
Okay, okay, same. Well, I shouldn't say same here. I had two roosters, and that used to be my joy on morning to hear them
and
crowing.
I and I grew up with a
You know,
rooster. So I
yeah,
grew
I
I
love,
yeah.
I love roosters.
So we grew up with a rooster, but I associate it like in the morning time, and when I hear birds chirping and the sun is coming through my window, like my body automatically associate that with we're gonna have a good day. Like I just become happy all of a sudden. And
Wow.
yeah, and then like rain, like you said, rain on the roof or waves on the beach, they're so peaceful for meditation, relaxation, everything like that. I can
Oh
go to
yes, water. Yes.
water makes me
Yeah.
sleepy, and I tell people that all the time. The sound of rain, the sound of waves makes me sleepy, and I go to sleep every time because it's too calming.
Okay.
It's too
Well,
calming
that's
for
very
me.
soothing.
It is. We had a thunderstorm yesterday, and all I could hear was the rain. And I did not want to get out of bed because my body was too soothed.
You must be West Indian. Because when it rains, that's the day that most people just want to stay indoors and do absolutely nothing other than just listen to the rain on the roof.
Exactly.
And that in itself is a beautiful song, especially when it comes on really, really hard and then it trickles off into, just a little drizzle and then it comes on hard again.
Hmm.
It's just beautiful. Even the sound of thunder is beautiful.
I love the sound of thunder. I don't, and it releases something.
And I'm just saying all of this, that when we connect to nature and we realize that music is in us and we're in that music, that everything, everything points towards oneness. That there's not really the separation that we think that is happening, but there's oneness because the earth itself gives off so many vibrations, and each vibration carries within a different rhythm, a different harmony, a different kind of timbre. It the planet is alive, and it is alive with music.
And it is because you can find music anywhere in the environment, anywhere on Earth, always find a sound. You can always make a rhythm out of something. Two rocks together, sticks, trees. I always tell people one of the things that I love to do when it's warm outside, I'm able to do it. I love to sit outside and just kind of listen, but it's not the type of listen that's easy to explain. I'm listening for the sounds that are in nature and how my body reacts, and I think a lot of people don't understand what that looks like for them because they're not used to doing it.
Since at this point, as a spiritual practitioner, I'm going to move this conversation into magic, mysticism, and spirituality, because music intertwines so many different cultures and religious and spiritual ceremonies
It does.
that we cannot ignore the fact that it is a part of our culture. For me, as a spiritual practitioner, I don't just want to connect to the instrument, I want to connect to the vibration that note is sending out there. And I want to connect to it because I know that in connecting to it, I am connecting to a higher source. I am connecting to the God of my understanding through the music. And when I go to that place where the music just takes over and I feel that oneness with it, and my body feels that oneness with it, there's movement.
Mhm.
And in that movement and the music, they just become one with all that is, at least for me. And it is at that point where everything else ceases to exist. Whatever challenges that have been confronting me, those just gone, forgotten. In that moment where my body becomes the musical instrument, the songs, everything just gels into one. And the material world, as I know it, ceased to exist. The problems that confront me are no longer there. And I'm drifting into that place of the divine, that divine nothingness where, I mean, you can achieve this too by being still in silence, but music can take you there as well. Music can take you to that place where you just transcend the physical world and connect with the spiritual world. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Cloud?
So I have to agree, and, mu- and I'm gonna tell you why I agree because music, I can't, like I said, I can't describe music to people, but music takes you to a whole different level when you connect with it on more than one level. And one thing about me is, somebody said it already, but music and dance is healing. So me, when I hear music and I want to dance, I can't do it with shoes on. I have to be able to feel the earth, and I don't know why. And because I like to feel the vibration of the music, I like to feel the beat of the music, and when I'm dancing, and I can't do that when my feet are covered with socks or with shoes, and
Wow.
I had to take them off, and it's just like my body connects to like all these different like vibrations and sounds and the beat of the earth and stuff like that. And like you said, it does take me to a whole different level. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm connecting higher with God. I don't know if my body's just kind of releasing everything inside of itself, but I do know that I find it to be very healing. I find it to be very personal too sometimes,
Mhm.
because it's kind of like I get lost in the music, and then when I come back down from that feeling of the music, I kind of feel like one, like complete kind of. I don't know why,
Yeah.
and I
How
don't,
does
and
that how does that tie into psychology and neuroscience? That feeling of letting go and just being the music, allowing the music to permeate every cell within your body. How does that tie into neuroscience and psychology?
I think it's what it ties into is that it releases that chemical like in your brain.
Dopamine?
I'm sorry.
You mean that chemical like dopamine?
Yes, it releases dopamine, into your body, and it just kind of makes you feel good. Like that's just what it is. It makes you feel good,
So if
and
I'm hearing you correctly, we don't need meds to take care of mental health issues. We can just play some music and become one with that music and allow the activating centers in the brain to release dopamine and put us into a different state of mind, a place of euphoria. If I'm hearing you correctly.
so I would say yes and no. I would say for non-severe mental health issues, those that do not really need medication, that don't really need real medication to control it, I would say yes. But for those that are severe mental health issues, are severe bipolar, schizophrenic, those type of issues, it's a combination of both music and medication because then you kind of hitting it from two different sides.
Hmm.
That's how I look at it
I'm
clinically.
just thinking, and I'm not an advocate for medication.
Mm.
I That's a last resort for me, medication. Um, but for persons who have to go on medication, I respect that. But for those of us who can just throw our shoes off and become so grounded with the universe and sing and dance and listen to good music and move from that place of depression to a place of pleasure and euphoria, I say go with the music. Let the music play.
Yes, because music, like we've been talking about, music does impact your mental health. It's very big for your mental health. But if your mental health causes for medication, then of course using medication. But music can also,
Yeah,
uh,
you do what is best for the client, patient in the moment.
yeah, and then the rest is just you know let like you said, let the music play, have fun with it.
Yeah, you have to do what is best for the client. And on that note, I would like to share with our audience that mystical and magical practices, with music can induce altered states of consciousness such as trance and ecstasy. And it is in these altered states that there are changes in brain activity, such as increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, and it can also decrease activity in the default mode network and change the activity of various neurotransmitters. And that is what listening to certain types of music can do for you. Change the activity of various neurotransmitters, like the ones that release dopamine to make you happy. And music can be used as a form of cognitive manipulation because there are specific musical tones or rhythms that can induce certain emotional or psychological states.
Hmm.
And that's coming from me as a licensed spiritual practitioner, where I believe that there's always a higher calling, that there's always some mystical there is always a mystical aspect of everything that we do.
An example I would give to that is, especially in like Native American culture, how the sound bowl is used to locate sickness inside the body. You go over
Mm-hmm. That's
you go
correct.
you go over the body with and you hit it. You hit the bowl, and the vibrations let you know exactly where the sickness is located at, and then
Mm-hmm.
you know try to
Yeah,
get rid of.
I know
Uh,
that happens too in certain branches of holistic healing, and I'm trying to remember what the instrument is, but where they'll pass an object over your body, and based on how it vibrates, they can tell you what's going on in your body. When you
yes,
deal with things like polarity, in the body, there
yes,
is so much information out there and knowledge that if we look at modern science and the ancient science, and we bring all those things together through philosophy, religion, and the science, if we bring all those things together, we can really create spaces of true healing, rather than saying, well, this modem is the best way to go. I know that there's some medical doctors who will say, oh, no, you have to do it this way. We're going to give you meds. We're going to put you in an asylum because you have to be contained from society, rather than look and see how we can work together, bring that collaborative effort to the fore, where persons such as myself with my spiritual background, persons like yourself with your psychological background and the medical background can come together and look at ways of gelling all of these different ways of healing so that we can incorporate all the different methods for the client's highest good.
Exactly. Exactly, and that's pretty much it. Just it. Uh, Comprehensive, collaboration across different fields. Again, will allow for our clients to have a different treatment, treatment team or treatment that kind of allows for a full, well-rounded approach.
Yeah, because there's so much we can learn from each other if we sit down together and work together and share what we know, because you're specialized in your area, I'm specialized in my area, the medical doctor is specialized in their area. But if we can bring that all together, I honestly believe that we can assist persons in healing. Because once you get a person to heal through the mind first, get the mind to function at its optimum, the body will comply. The
Exactly.
body has to comply. Because if we're acknowledging that everything is based on vibration and the movement of that vibration, and I'm going back to the first clip that I played, which you did not hear, unfortunately. The music is in us, that vibration is in us. And once we can connect to that at its highest source and bring the music into the body through whatever instrument we want to use, be it the lute, the guitar, the wind instruments such as flutes,
Mm-hmm.
um, horns, or whatever, harmonica, that's the correct term. But if we can bring that music into us and allow the vibrations and the tone and all the things that make music to resonate within the cells of our body, even our brain waves, I see that as a real new form of technology in terms of let's go into a medical hospital and sing beautiful songs to patients who are thinking, well, this is the end for me, and see how they respond to the vibration of music.
Exactly.
And on that, I'm going to go into the holistic benefits of music. I would say medicine, but can you share with our audience the holistic benefits of music?
So the holistic benefits of music kind of varies. And so when we look at it holistically, oops, sorry, there we go. All right. So holistically, um, we kind of talked about this earlier a little bit with the sound bowl
Yeah.
being holistic, and so it can kind of, to certain people, the holistic benefits is that it can kind of cure things without the use of medication or conventional methods of treatment. And so holistically, the music can be used to heal all these illnesses and sicknesses inside one's body or mind, just using music alone. That's all it is, just using music alone. So it's using the sound bowls, the crystal bowls, using the vibrations or the rhythms of certain objects, using the vibrations of crystals, placing them, on different, what do they call them? Your chakra points, right? And using
Yeah,
those,
that's correct.
yeah, the
That's correct.
chakra points, and using those vibrations from the crystals on your chakra points to heal whatever is causing the issue. So like your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and whatever else, depending on what the issue is, and using the vibration holistically to heal you.
So here's what some research has shown on holistic benefits of music. One, it improves your mood.
Yes.
Two, it enhances cognitive function, promotes physical health, it encourages social connection. And I didn't think of that, you know, that music can encourage social connection and improve sleep, reduces pain, and it boosts the immune function. Music, or I should say, song therapy and music. What are your thoughts on that? Because those are holistic forms of healing, song
So
therapy and music.
so I could agree that with those being holistic approaches, because for those who are out here who who are not only watching but those who know, when you listen to music at night before bed, right? It helps you sleep better. Or for me, I sleep with a fan on year round, but I sleep with that fan on because of the vibration of the fan. To me, it's comforting. So that is the rhythm or the vibration that I'm used to, the air in the room and how it
Mhm.
moves. My body has already been attuned to that vibration in the area, so it promotes a deeper sleep for me. Because as soon as you turn that fan off, I wake up.
Sounds psychological, physical healing
I'm so I think you
just for
froze.
the mind, is this also for the body? Yeah, it is for the body. They complement each other. And for those who are afraid of needles and medication and want to try something new, this is the way to go. Music. It has been around for from the beginning of time, and I think it will always be here with us. But to use it as a form of healing for mental wellness, I think that is so awesome. What I'm going to do now is go to some other We have Candace Nolan in St. Lucia. She says, no matter what language we speak, what color we are, the form of our politics, or expression of our love and faith, music proves we are the same. I love that. We definitely are the same. And here's another comment from Regina. People use music to help bring back people from a coma.
This
Oh,
is
that's
true, but
interesting.
this
That's
is true,
interesting.
and the only reason this is true, and Regina's right, when coma patients are in a coma and they're trying to get them to come back, they try to use something that the person is similar with, or that will kind of remind them of a place of happiness or peace. And music has been proven to be one of those tools, like a wedding song, a song that they sung to a child or to their spouse, or a song they loved in general. They're used it, and sometimes that can help bring somebody out of a coma.
Yeah. Even people in wheelchairs can dance. Wow, it does encourage movement. I can't hear a good song and sit still. And you'll notice
Yep.
this was even babies. When babies hear rhythm, they're ready to go. They love dancing. And this is what I think we really must share from Regina as well. Music can help encourage reflection, help boost self esteem. It can definitely help with mood management potentiality. I'm interested in learning more about that, Regina. Mood management. I'm interested in learning more about that. Maybe we can have you on the show to share that information with our audience.
And Regina's right. It does help with mood management.
Yeah.
Because I could be in a bad mood, and then if I hear my favorite song, my mood just switches.
And here we're going to have two more comments from Regina. I got the wrong one first. It's funny those sorts of song recordings are ending up really popular on Spotify, traditional music streaming sites. People are using nature songs to chill out and help them sleep. And that's good. Better than making pills. I'm an advocate for anything that's natural. Copyright, which raises the interesting question on the issue of copyright because higher powers make those songs, not humans. You can only record those songs and try to replicate them. Um, that's very
She's right.
interesting. Oh,
She's right.
that's interesting. She's what?
She's right.
I didn't hear that. Yeah, that's
Oh,
interesting. Yeah,
she's very right on that.
that is very interesting. Thank you, Regina, and thank you, Candace, and all those, and Kenneth, and everyone who has been listening to the show. Thank you so much for being here. I trust that the information that we shared has been enlightening for you at this time. And what I would like to do is encourage you to listen to more songs. I'm going to put these in the chat now. Um, so that you can go my computer down. Let me see, did it go? Yeah. Yes. I think it went. I'm going to put another couple more that you can listen to. These are the ones that I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to put them there so that you can copy them and listen or listen to them at your convenience. Right? And I'm going to go to another. Just bear with me as I collect these songs that I think would give you an opportunity to connect with music in a different way. Okay, and now for the last one, it's just one more and we are complete. So you just copy those and you listen. And one is the Om song, one is flute, singing bowls, and the sound of nature. Dr. Cloud, I would like to thank you so much for being here. And to our lovely audience, are there any final words that you want to share with the audience?
So I think the only thing I have to say is that when you're listening to music and you're by yourself, use that time to let the music really feel your body and see exactly how you feel afterwards. Because music is universal, and so whatever you're going through, always use music to kind of help you get through it.
And on that note, I'm going to remind you that there are therapists out there. If you're having a really bad day, talk to your therapist, listen to your music, dance, just enjoy whatever brings you to that place of calm, peace, and harmony. And again, I would like to thank all of you who joined us this morning and taking time out to listen to and watch Black Mental Health Matters. Thank you all so much.
Have a
Have
good
an
day.
awesome, awesome day. Until.
Bye.